Hello and welcome to a Ranger training series. Originally, this was thought of as an operator-only training program, but listening to the tapes and looking at the IMS, it seemed pretty obvious that we could use this for training of all Rangers in lots of different positions. So here is our first stab at a long-form version. We're going to take calls that actually came over the radio at Burning Man in 2014, and look at them and talk to the people who were involved. The call that we're going to go over on this one is from Thursday evening of the event in 2014. The first IMS log was made at 21:26, and this large clock here is going to be keeping real time. And we're going to try to edit our comments in real time. This call is very long, and a lot of other things are happening, but we're only going to play the parts that are pertinent to this call. Basically, 9:26 is after Khaki reads back the information that was given in. This was a Ranger off-duty calling in something to Khaki. There's multiple Khakis on this one, and let's take a listen to what happened on Thursday evening, 2014 on the playa.
Khaki, Sasquatch.
Sasquatch calls it in.
Sasquatch, go.
This is Librarian.
Yeah, Khaki, I'm still winning my long way home, and I came across a multi-gallon black water spill in A Street, about 310 and A.
This, my friends, is the sound of Khaki thinking.
Sasquatch, you saw a multi-gallon water spill at, what was that location?
To clarify, this is black water sewage from a trailer. It's at 310 and A. It's taking up about half the street. People are riding their bikes through it and walking through it.
Here's a big gap where the Khaki does not answer. Let's talk to a librarian about what was going on at that moment. What did you think about all of that traffic so far?
I feel like Khaki's dropping the ball at the thought. I wish I could remember what the hell was going on around HQ that was so distracting.
What would have been a better way to respond even if you didn't know what to do?
Definitely saying, we've heard that, we're going to see what resources we can throw at it. Give us a second and we'll get back to you.
Right. And how many Khaki shifts had you done at that point?
That was my second one, I think.
So you're brand new Khaki, in fact, a risky at the time.
Right.
So, Sasquatch, do you remember this call?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I do remember this one. It took a while for me to get the point across.
So what was going through your mind while all this was happening?
Well, I just figured Khaki was marshaling resources.
And here on the first IMS entry at 21:26, Vertigo, the operator, puts in a really nice synopsis of what was recalled in. Hello, Vertigo. You were the operator on this call. Do you remember this call?
I do remember because there was actually a couple of other spill-ish things within that time frame. Basically, I was just standing by to find out when someone actually reported on site to get more information.
A minute and a half later, Sasquatch calls it in again.
Khaki, this is Sasquatch. I have a biohazard at 310 and A. Do I have an answer?
And gets standby, and then almost nothing.
Standby.
So was that hard to track as an operator?
It can be really hard to track, but the way we were doing it as operators was when you're still really waiting for an active reply back, you keep multiple windows open. And that makes it a lot easier because then when another call comes in and you hear the same names, you can flip over to that page and add information as needed.
It's mad chatter.
Sasquatch, Khaki.
Yeah, so I remember, Thursday was a shit show.
Go, Khaki.
I registered that you have a biohazard problem at, what was the location?
Oh, Lord. 310 and A. Black water is leaking in multiple gallons from a trailer. It has covered half the street. People are walking in it. People are riding their bikes through it. It is a biohazard. Black water is sewage.
Again, this is Khaki thinking. So these spaces on the radio aren't always the greatest time to jump in with things or ask more questions. Usually just give the Khaki some time.
Copy that. We'll get some rangers on location to help keep the crowd off of that area while we figure out the rest. Khaki clear.
I'll stand by until you can get a team here. Sasquatch out.
Sasquatch, being a good ranger, says, okay, great. I will stay here until someone comes and I can be relieved of this.
Oh, they got there pretty quick. They were probably there within about 6 minutes. It was a foot team.
Here's another entry in the IMS.
Khaki. Brewski. Khaki.
These are nearby rangers who decided to come over and help.
Brewski and Gabriel are going to head to 310 and Alpha to help with the black water.
Yeah, that's the team that showed up.
You guys are awesome. Thank you very much.
And they right away started looking for barriers.
Here's where the status has changed. And there you go. Rangers hearing something on the radio and being nearby. Reach out to Khaki and say, I can fix that problem for you. I can go do it. And now we're going to hear from another character on this scene, the OOD.
Occasionally we run into situations where we don't know what to say, and it's better to respond to the Dirt Ranger to say, hey, we don't know what to say right now. Let us look it up and get back to you.
Do you remember this call?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because this is the call where I learned that we actually have the best hazmat team in the country on Playa. Actually, I didn't learn that we had the best hazmat team on Playa until Saturday. But I didn't even know that we had a full-on hazmat team on Playa until this shift.
How did you learn that there was a hazmat team in the middle of this call?
That's a good question. How did I learn that? I think either someone tapped me on the shoulder and said, hey, we have a hazmat team, or... I mean, I think I knew we had something.
Eventually did get the hazmat team out there, which there actually is one of.
I knew to ask for it and report it. That was part of training. Wasn't that a must report?
Sure. I don't...
Biohazard?
Yeah, biohazard must report, wasn't it? Well, then I'm going to just answer that like a smart person. Well, of course it's in training, and it's great that you remember that, Sasquatch.
Thanks.
Here is a ranger being added. So when you call as OOD, you're giving feedback as OOD, and when you use your own name, what are you doing?
When I use my own name, it's more of just a ranger-to-ranger type call.
When you say OOD?
When I say OOD, I'm calling in as the OOD.
All right. Here is a call from CC Sally, the ranger, to our shift command team.
The Khaki, CC Sally. CC Sally, go for Khaki. About that biohazard, you may want the Rangers to try to find the owners of the RV or campmates and get them to get buckets and plastic bags and clean up their mess. Copy that, CC Sally. Brewski, Khaki. Go for Brewski. Brewski, did you copy that traffic from CC Sally? Affirmative. Excellent. Khaki clear.
Yeah, that's one I should have called in as OOD.
It didn't matter. I think it was a great call-in regardless. It was what they needed at the time. And I'm guessing at that point you still didn't know that we had a hazmat team.
No, at that point I didn't know we had an actual hazmat team. I didn't find out we had the best hazmat team in the country until Saturday. The buckets and plastic bags is how I've normally dealt with, told people to deal with blackwater stuff. That's how we've done with the smaller ones. The larger one like that is definitely hazmat and or DPW coming in to cordon things off.
It was a good job by Brewski and team to be listening to the radio to hear what was going on, because an answer came in help came in for them, and they didn't have to be repeated back to them, and because they were actually going to answer to that scene. So they were listening and paying attention, and were able to keep the radio clear. Somewhere in the middle of this, you found out about a hazmat team, because here's what happened next.
Khaki, OOD. OOD. Apparently there is a hazmat team that can be dispatched, so if you could call Blacklock and ask for the hazmat team to that site, that would be great. Will do, Khaki clear. Blacklock, Khaki.
Khaki, go ahead.
Blacklock, can we get a hazmat team to 310 and A for Alpha? Break. There is a Blackwater spill that is taking up part of that street, and we need to get hazmat on scene.
Copy that. Hazmat team 310 and Alpha, Blackwater spill on street. This would be the A street. Okay, I'll get them rolling.
Copy that. There are Rangers Brewski and Gabriel on scene right now, controlling the crowd.
Copy. Brewski and Gabriel on scene. Thank you.
Here's an interesting situation where after a long period of no traffic on the radio, Khaki calls to 911 to find out when the Hazmat team is showing up, and at the same time, a ranger calls in. The ranger calling in doesn't know that Khaki's actually on the horn with 911 because they don't hear that. But it's a classic example of why Khaki gets 2 calls at once, and sometimes you might have to wait.
Black Rock, Khaki.
Khaki, Black Rock, go ahead.
Can you provide an ETA on that Hazmat team, please?
Operator.
Hazmat
team at 310 and Alpha, stand by.
Operator, anything in the logs besides this current event and location?
No, it appears to be very similar to the current
Khaki,
issue.
Black Rock, they are en route, and they're en route from Station 3, which is 3 o'clock in Charlie, so it shouldn't take them real long to get there.
Today.
Copy that. Thank you, Khaki clear. The timestamp was from yesterday.
Copy that. Thank you.
Brewski, Khaki.
Here's a situation where a ranger is definitely working in the middle of a scene, and Khaki calls that ranger. The ranger doesn't respond. That's not the strangest thing in the world, and Khaki will usually find something to work around it.
Gabriel, Khaki.
Calls her partner,
Khaki, go for Gabriel.
who answers immediately.
Gabriel, the Hazmat team should be with you guys any second now. Please let us know when they get there. Khaki clear.
Will do. I'm pretty sure I see him coming down the road, and we are currently fixing a plastic bag leak in the hopes of slowing the spread.
Copy that. It would be good if you can continue helping with crowd control while Hazmat gets the thing sorted out. Khaki clear.
So that's a great transmission between the rangers on scene and Khaki. They let Khaki know what was going on, that they were doing something, and you can see that Vertigo noted that they were working on something, and then there's another one of these change status. These are basically the statuses on the top of the IMS system. There's statuses for active, on scene, dispatched. Lots of different things that will let people know, other operators and people know where the status of some event is. Oftentimes when multiple things happen, sometimes the statuses don't get changed, but operators should do their best to make sure that they keep whatever is happening on that scene noted in the status of the scene. For 2016, we have a new status, which is called active.
Khaki, this is Gabriel.
Gabriel, go.
Hazmat is on site. We are going to hang out and see what they have to say. I'll let you know when we have any further information.
Perfect. Thank you, Gabriel.
Another great call in. We know what's going on, and it's marked in the IMS.
Khaki, this is Gabriel.
Gabriel, go.
They're asking if we have access to cones and or caution tape. Is that something we have on hand?
Gabriel, stand by.
Khaki, Santa Cruz.
Go ahead, Santa Cruz.
There's caution tape in the 05 container in the big orange box. There's cones around HQ over.
We're going to leave this scene now. It went on for a while, and there's a few more IMS entries. But basically, this was well done by everyone involved. New khakis, experienced khakis, the OOD got involved. The ranger on scene, who was off duty, did a great job of staying until a team came. A team came and offered their help without being asked. And then they did a really good job of being present on the radio for khaki. It's a good idea to put in your mind that situations go on for a long period of time. Often when we get calls, we think they're going to be resolved right away. So when they don't, just keep a window open with the incident, mark down when things come in, and try to stay on top of incidents as they occur. That's it for this one. Maybe we'll get another one out this year, but if not, we'll see you on the playa. Thanks.